Good morning. A word of appreciation to dear Bishop, basically for thinking and thoughtfully arranging this seminar with a specific focus to artificial intelligence, because it is not the future, it is already our present. We are very much part of artificial intelligence, that today unknowingly we are engulfed with this technology. I should acknowledge the encouragement that came from my principal when he said, I was a bit hesitant when principal said you should do this topic. I thought it will be a small introductory thing. Then he said, no, it's the initial keynote address for the whole perspective. And it's really indeed an honor to speak to you on what is artificial intelligence, what it means to Christian ministry, and what are the challenges for pastoral ministry, especially from an Indian context. Have you heard of a robot called Bless You? Bless You too, which was developed by a Protestant church in Hesse and Nassau, Germany, to commemorate the 500th anniversary of the Protestant Reformation in 2017. Designed to provoke discussions about the intersection of technology and faith, Bless You offers blessings in 5 languages: German, English, French, Spanish, Polish. Users can select a preferred language, choose between a male or a female, gender balance is maintained. Upon selection, the robot raises its arms. There is a small LED light that comes over and recites a blessing, and then provides you with an acknowledgement saying that you have received this blessing at this time from this kind of a robot. This initiative to explore whether machines could deliver blessings was to encourage a dialogue between the role of artificial intelligence in religious practices. Just 1.5 years back in June 2023, ChatGPT powered a full-fledged church service, which was occupied by nearly 300 people at the St. Paul's Church in Germany. 40-minute sermon included a text generated by OpenAI's ChatGPT. Chatbots delivered various avatars on the television screen above the altar. The screen was placed just above the altar. The chatbot, initially personified as a beard-colored man with a fixed expression with a monotone, addressed the audience proclaiming, just like a pastor, "Dear friends, it is an honor to me to stand here and preach to you as the first artificial intelligence at this year's convention of Protestants in Germany." This was the first sentence of the artificial intelligence sermon or the service was conducted. Today I would like to speak about the intersection of artificial intelligence and pastoral ministry, especially in our Indian context, focusing on the potential ethical, spiritual, and some of the theological concerns that arise in this very context of technologies, use of technologies in religious practices. As AI transforms society and ethical decision making, our discussions will explore potential and pitfalls of AI in ministry and how can we faithfully navigate this whole era of artificial intelligence. I have divided my presentation or structured it in three forms. The first part will deal with what is artificial intelligence with certain case studies, highlighting some of the strengths and limitations. This will deal with the first part of it. Then I would draw a few theological responses from a couple of theologians, especially Anna Forth's argument on AI and theology, and then I would like to draw insights from Noreen Hetzfield on the image of God and artificial intelligence, and then in the last section I would like to speak on certain questions. What does it mean to embody the biblical option for the poor in the context of artificial intelligence? Can AI possess any form of spiritual or moral agencies? Can AI assist decision making aligned with the work of the Holy Spirit? Do AI generated sermons carry the spiritual depth and personal convictions that come from a divine inspiration? And then how do we ensure that AI does not replace the essential human element in pastoral care? For the last 2 weeks, if you have seen the media, Indian media, day and night there is only one news: the Kumbh Mela. The Kumbh Mela that's happening. Is AI there? Very much. How is AI being used there? It is used for crowd management and safety. AI-powered surveillance systems with facial recognition technologies monitor large crowds, supposed to prevent stampedes, but they could not manage the crowds in such situations. Drones are equipped to analyze to keep in track of the crowd and the increase of volume in certain places. Traffic and logistics optimization, smart sanitation and waste management. AI enables waste detection systems to help maintain cleanliness by predicting garbage accumulation zones and deploying smart waste disposal mechanisms. The fourth is AI chatbots and virtual assistants, where real-time information for rituals, bathing guards, accommodations, emergency services are given in most of the Indian languages. The fifth is AI in digital pilgrimage and remote darshan for devotees who are not able to attend. AI-driven virtual reality experiences offers immersive digital pilgrimage, AI-powered cameras, live streams, religious rituals allowing global participation. And the sixth one is the personalized spiritual guidance, AI-based application which analyzes devotees' religious inclinations and suggests personalized prayers, mediations, techniques, and scriptural readings. What about this? Was regarding Hinduism and Kumbh Mela that's happening. AI in Islam, AI for Quran recitation, smart prayer assistance, which is there's an app called Muslim Pro, which helps Muslims keep track of their prayer timings and fasting schedules. There is something called an Islamic chatbots, virtual scholars, AI-driven chatbots. Fatwa bot provides answers to religious queries based on Islamic concerns. AI halal verification. Look at the intensity of how AI is getting used with a religious motivation behind it. AI tool that is used to verify halal certification for food, ensuring compliance with the Islamic dietary laws. Coming to Christianity, I have given you one example of bless you and how sermon, a full-fledged sermon was done in Germany. But apart from that, there are several other examples where AI is used. Basically, AI generated sermons and biblical analysis. AI is being used to generate sermon, analyze biblical text, and offer theological interpretations. However, I will come back to this at a later stage where we need to think critically to what extent and to what level that these contents could be relied upon. Then there is an app called Jesus Loves You, and then there is an app called Hallow, which uses AI recommended prayer meditations. Then there is the AI assisted theological discussions, AI tool that is used to analyze religious texts, offer insights into complex theological debates. Then there is digital evangelism and virtual churches where AI driven chatbots and virtual reality gives a kind of keep track of the congregation members, keep the data of the congregation members, in a similar way replicating the manual church registers that we maintain in our local churches. But this is of another level where all the details of the congregation members are collated together, even to the extent of offertories, tracking the offertories and the church tax or the amounts that are being paid by members on a regular basis. For the last few years, there has been this discussion of naming AI as the fourth industrial revolution. Why is that? It is quite important to know the context that we are located in. In the 18th and the 19th century, when mechanization using steam and water power for textile mills and steam engine was innovated or found, this was called as the first industrial revolution. Later, when mass production with electricity, assembly lines and rise of industry started in the late 19th and the 20th century, this was named as the second industrial revolution, which addressed things in mass production and other things. And then in the late 80s and later, that is in the mid 20th century, we find the digital revolution with computers coming in, electronics and internet that actually began in the late 80s, and then for us in India it literally picked up only after 1997 or 2001. AI basically is a unique technology, basically because it can think and take decisions on the data that is provided to that. That is what makes it unique and different from all the technologies that was innovated until the 20th and the 21st century. The idea of creating intelligent machines has ancient roots. But the field of artificial intelligence officially began in 1956. That year, John McCarthy organized a workshop in Dartmouth University where he defined artificial intelligence as building machines to perform tasks that would be considered as intelligent if it is done by humans. The workshop launched a research program focused on designing machines capable of performing tasks typically associated with human intelligence and intelligent behavior. In its simple form, AI refers to the ability of machines to perform tasks that would normally require human intelligence. These tasks may include learning, reasoning, problem solving, language understanding, translation for that matter, and even perceptions. At the core of AI is what is called as algorithms. Detailed set of instructions that guide a machine through a problem solving process. These algorithms allow AI systems to learn from the data based on the feedback and on the basis of the use. Over the time it improves its accuracy. Most of us are, now that smartphones is being part of our life, what do we do when we find 5 minutes time to relax? Screen, right? And where do we jump? Immediately we will jump to YouTube, right? And in YouTube, now our patience has gone. We don't have patience to watch 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 1 hour. No, patience has gone. Now, the task in a communicator has only 30 seconds to maximum 1 minute to say what he wants to say. During the COVID period, we all moved into online churches, YouTubes, and content generation started. But just from 2020 to when we reached the end of 2024, our patience has died out. We don't want to watch that full 20 minutes video. We want a shorter version so that in a short time we want to consume. Now, have you wondered, next day when you open your WhatsApp, your YouTube or your Facebook or your Instagram, have you observed a pattern? What you have watched? Probably you have watched one advertisement regarding a product. A similar product is being advertised to you on Instagram. A similar product is used for you to say what is available in Flipkart, what is available in Meesho, what is available in Amazon. Why is that? You have searched personally. How did they come to know? This is very much happening with all of us. And these days in Instagram Reels you will see interested or not interested. If you are interested, you can click so that there is a unlimited flow of advertisements or products or videos that is of your interests. Each view, each reel generates income, not for you. Your only time is gone down the drain. There is no income generated for you, but the income is generated to someone else. The more you see the mobile, the more income is generated. And this is what is our lifestyle. Today, when we go to our beds, we will see if there is some instant messages or not. But do we stop there? We will jump to another, we will jump to one link, from one link we will jump to one shorts, and then you see, oh, it's already 11:30. From you start, when did you start scrolling your screen? Probably 1 hour early, unless you are dead tired. You have no strength to open your eyes. Today, this is the power of algorithm, which senses, which studies what you want, which studies where you want to go, which studies where are you, what are you interested in. For example, you see one resort Imagine I want to see, I am exploring tour to South Kerala or the places where I want to see the best boat houses. I'll put boat houses. For the next 2 days, I will be only flooded with videos of various boat houses that exist starting from Kasaragod up till Trivandrum. All those locations, all those videos will be directed to me. Make My Trip app. Once you book your destination, if you just explore once, have you ever seen your prices have come down? Never. The algorithms are trained in such a way that the more you search, each time you search, your flight charges or your travel costs are only increased by 100, 200 rupees, so that at the first go itself you should think this is the cheapest I am getting and you should book it. There is a kind of unnecessary fear that is being generated. How is that generated? They say we can use alternative modes of web pages, and there are alternative ways where algorithms cannot track, but now it is absolutely impossible because every program is part of this. That is why AI has the ability to learn and adapt, is what distinguishes AI from the traditional means of programming, where a machine's behavior is determined by explicit predefined instructions. Now there are different types of categories of AI. The one that we are experiencing now today, what is today readily available to us, is narrow AI, or what we call as weak AI. This form of AI is specialized in performing a specific task such as voice recognition, image processing, language translation. Most of the AI applications we interact with today fall under this category, such as virtual assistants such as Siri and Alexa. Have you experimented with Alexa, that small speaker? If you select a Malayalam favorite song, how efficiently will it present? Initially it will not, but gradually as it gets used to your accent, have you experienced the efficiency is growing day by day? And that is what the efficiency that is developed makes the machine unique from any other technology, because it learns with every data that you type. Any text that you type. The second kind of artificial intelligence is the general AI or the strong AI. Unlike the narrow AI, general AI would have the ability to perform intellectual tasks that human can do. It is still a very theoretical concept and it has not been fully realized. There are a couple of names: DeepMind. IBM has its own program named after our principal, Watson. Not named after him, but the name of that program is Watson, where knowledge and analysis is what it is aiming towards, where data is generated in a certain extent where the AI will respond just like any other human beings. The third is the super intelligent AI. This is a level of AI that surpasses human intelligence in virtually all fields, including creative and emotional intelligence. It remains speculative and it is subject to philosophical and ethical discussions. In 2013, there was a movie named Her. this movie is about a humanoid or a human robot named Samantha, who evolves from being just as a personal assistant and something beyond human intelligent process, responds to emotions and also becomes emotional, which is beyond imagination. Imagine Alexa reacting emotionally for you. Does it react like that? No. As for now, the form is it, you give a command, you say, I need this song, or what is the temperature update. That is the only form of dialogue. But when Alexa says, what's wrong with you? Why are you speaking like this? Why are you harsh to me today? Why are you speaking to your wife like this? That is what we can imagine how it could lead to in a super intelligent AI. Now, what is the difference between artificial intelligence and human intelligence? Many views. Recent document from the Vatican speaks about this very aspect of the difference between AI and the human intelligence. It says, many views of AI and human intelligence share the spoken idea that intelligence means the same thing for both. However, this does not fully capture the concept. Human intelligence is a faculty that applies to the whole person, while in artificial intelligence, the term intelligence is understood in the terms of the function that it is supposed to do. This assumes that human thought can be broken down into various digital steps that machines can copy. The Turing test exemplifies this, as it deems machine intelligent if its behavior is indistinguishable from humans. However, behavior here only refers to the specific intellectual tasks, not the fully spectrum of human experience, including abstraction, emotion, creativity, moral and religious feeling. The intelligence of an AI is assessed based on its ability to provide appropriate responses, particularly those linked to human intellect, regardless of how it generates those responses. AI's advanced feature gives it sophisticated abilities to perform tasks, but not the ability to think. This distinction is crucially important, as the way intelligence is defined inevitably shapes how we understand the relationship between human thought and this technology. To appreciate this, one must recall the richness of the philosophical tradition and the Christian tradition, which offers a deeper and a more comprehensive understanding of intelligence, an understanding that is central to Church's teaching as a nature, that is the human nature, dignity and vocation of what humans are to be. AI refers to machine as a software designed to mimic artificial intelligence. That's why there are artificial intelligence is developed in two ways. One is the machine learning aspect, a subset of AI where machines learn from patterns from data without being explicitly programmed. Instead, following fixed rules, machine learning systems proves this example. One of the best example for this is Netflix or Amazon Prime or YouTube. Recommends shows, movies or videos based on your viewing history. The more you watch, the better it predicts your preferences. The second one is the large language models. A type of AI trained as massive amounts of text to understand, to generate human-like language. It's commonly called as LLM, and the first one is called as ML. ChatGPT can write a poem, explain complex topics, can write a sermon, much like how humans learn language through reading. In a relationship, to put it in a very relational way, AI is a broad goal, making machines smart. Machine learning is a technique to achieve this broader goal, learning from data. And LLM are specialized machine learning focused in terms of language, what we call as chatbots, translators, all of this. Everyday examples can be AI, the facial unlocking in your phones. We have that facial unlocking, right? Sometimes you just hold it, it will unlock. Have you seen in your Gmail, the moment you mark it as spam, even in your SMSs these days, when you mark it as spam, once it is marked as spam, it doesn't come into your inbox, it just goes into the spam box. Even your SMSs these days are structured in that way. That is, you are telling the machine that this kind of a message is a spam, and that is what the machine learns from you, and then henceforth categorizes the emails that or the messages that is delivered to you. LLM, the best example is when you are writing half line on internet, on Microsoft or Google. You see there is another half line that is already there. You just have to press a tab. Smart Compose, suggesting sentences. It will start suggesting sentences depending on the language that you have been using on Gmail or Google for the last few days or last few months. So these are a bit technical, but I have tried to simplify these for you. Now, artificial intelligence will play a major role in various other sectors. In the book that I edited, in one of the chapters, Artificial Intelligence, Tony Soanes speaks about how artificial intelligence penetrate into every aspect of industry. He says smart factories and future production, where predictive maintenance, quality control, supply chain optimization, robotics and automation, human-robot collaboration, all these are part of the manufacturing industry. When it comes to learning and education, there is what we call as personalized learning. Byju's initially started, and then various other modules were developed. There is intelligent tutoring systems. There is administrative efficiency to manage the records, student records. Student support engagements to keep track of the development of the students. And there is what you call as AI in content creation. A lot of work is being done in this direction. Today, if you move into the newer versions of Google and Chrome, earlier when you would give a search item, it will give you, it would have given you a full link of web pages. But today, since Gemini is owned by, Gemini is a kind of ChatGPT. ChatGPT belongs to OpenAI, which is a different company, and Gemini is owned by Google. So today, if you give a search, it will generate an initial response It will also give you references from which websites and from which official data it has collated the responses. And along with that, it gives you the footnotes also in your referencing pattern itself. Which means to say that content creation is one of the major focus which artificial intelligence is now being developed. Then there is in the retail section, personal recommendations. After purchasing something from Meesho, Amazon or Flipkart, have you seen another link below what others have purchased? How did it come? AI generated. Dynamic pricing. Today, we will be thinking that it will go down. But it will go down only when you have switched off your mobile. And next day when you come up, the price would have again hiked. This is happening every day with Amazon, Flipkart and Meesho. The only idea is to get money out of your pockets and only to increase that. Inventory optimization and customer service through AI chatbots. If you see most of these chatbots, you go to SBI cards, you go to any bank's online transaction or you use any app, most of the banks these days have stopped to reduce the customer care services. Earlier you used to call 1800 and there used to be a long number. Then for Hindi ke liye 1 dabao, for English ke liye dial 2, then for Kannada, Malayalam dial 3, for all those, that is gone. That is still there, but that services have been reduced so that the moment you log in into the State Bank of India, HDFC or ICICI, there is a small chatbot that jumps out and asks what you want. Now the problem for us is we need to think and react according to how it is trained. The moment you say some like oral calls, you will call the call center and say something, this is my problem. But here you should tell in the language that the chatbot understands. Otherwise it says, no, this doesn't exist. Please contact customer care services. So machine is trained to think in a particular way, and here marketing and advertisement is the key. I said to get the maximum out of you, not only even if you don't spend, to keep you on your screens. The more you are on the screens, someone else is minting money. And then there is this what we call in the finance sector, what we call as fraud detection. Then there is credit risk assessment, all these tools that analyze your spending, that analyze your income, and automating back office operations. And then when you come to agriculture, you see how AI is enabled in irrigation management, pest control of disease detection, soil management and crop health management. And then in terms of supply chain, marketing and predicting what the market needs so that the supplies are already been met or taken care of. Logistics, AI, Amazon has a very sophisticated depot, or it has a godown, warehouse, where most of the stocks are being identified and then brought to courier section by robots, because it notes which item is located in which part of the godown, and it knows how much stock is available, how much is already been spent, and analyzing what was being sent out of the godown in the last 1 week, it will say, probably seeing the need that was felt in the last 1 week, next week there may be an increase, a prediction. A prediction is given so that the needed supply is made available in the godown. So this is how AI literally works in different sectors, finance and healthcare, transforming patient care, revolutionizing medical imaging. Basically, very important is the role of in the role of diagnosis. I was speaking to a friend in Dubai. She says she's working in the department there, and she says their hospital has purchased an AI-enabled diagnosis machine, and her job there is to verify what AI has given, the report AI has generated, so that there is a personal touch and there is a verification before it is forwarded to the patient, and then it is justified. So I would like to present you 3 cases in the health sector. Not only health sector, but where church is also involved very actively. In 2020, the WHO, World Health Organization, and Government of India came up with a beautiful data. Government of India rarely comes up with such good data sets, but 2020 they came up with LASI studies, called as the longevity studies, which say that by 2030, 15% of there will be an increase in 15% of the populations between above the age group of 60, that is senior citizens, by 2030. And by 2050, they say this will only double by 5 times, which means between 2030 to 2050, we have to strengthen our public health system so that it should be able to handle healthcare issues only related to elderly care. Do we have this? A friend whom I was talking with, Dr. Machado, who was with the WHO, is now very much involved with developing a model and framework in this particular area. He says, Sandeep, we will have in next 10 or 15 years, take my words, we will have a situation like that of the second COVID wave. What happened in the second COVID wave? We didn't have beds. We didn't have sufficient medical supplies. That is because the volume of population of elderly care and the nursing and hospital care, the infrastructure that we have, does not match. And that is going to be a very important mission imperative in terms of healthcare. In terms of, there are robots. Japan has this Japan is one country that is very much involved with the robots development. So, in terms of healthcare, for the seniors or the elderly, there are 3 different artificial intelligence programs that are available. One is an assistive robot named as Robear, R-O-B-E-A-R, Robear, which helps elderly individuals with mobility, hygiene and daily activities. It aids with lifting and transferring patients from beds to wheelchairs. If you just go to YouTube and see Robear, it is a robot literally lifting a patient from a chair and putting it on the table in places where human resources are less, where human resources are depleting or where nursing care is not available. In such places, where assistance is needed, this robot is proposed to be as an alternative. The second AI in terms of elderly care is the social companion robot named as Paro. It is an AI-powered robotic seal which provides emotional support, companionship, reducing stress and anxiety in elderly patients. Similarly, there is Elic, a robot robotic assistants which engages in conversation, reminds seniors to take medicine, and encourages social interactions with social. It's a kind of a chatbot. And then there is what you call as the medical monitoring robots, which with the telepresence enables remote communications between patient and the healthcare providers. So this is basically to do with the robots with the taking care of the elderly who are bedridden and who need emotional support. The second one is also in terms of elderly, what we call as the brain chip. Brain chip, a revolutionary aid for dementia patients. What is dementia? Dementia is a progressive neurological disorder that affects memory, cognitive abilities, and daily functioning with an aging problem. Now, understanding this chip is very important. Also known as neutral implants are small electronic devices that interface directly with brain to stimulate neutral activities. These chips use advanced artificial intelligence and neurostimulation techniques to enhance and restore cognitive functions. How does this work? It restores the memory. Dementia is caused by degeneration of neurons and the loss of syntactic connections in critical areas of the brain. And memory restoration, this brain chip can store and retrieve memory from data, essentially acting as an artificial hippocampus. And there is cognitive enhancement by stimulating neurons in specific regions of the brain, that these chips can provide improved cognitive functions like problem solving, decision making, and attention from time to time. And there is real-time monitoring and assistance. Blue chips equipped with AI can analyze neutral activity in real time and provide alerts. So this is the second kind of aid that has been directed basically to the senior citizens, basically who are facing dementia, and this has been increasing. And the third one is in terms of AI and robotic in coping with grief, reacting. How do we react when we lose our loved ones? There are AI chatbots for grief support. There are humanoids. There are humanoids robots as emotional companions. There are virtual realities, like in 2020 the South Korean documentary saying Meeting You showcased a mother who was reunited with a digital creation of her deceased daughter using virtual reality technology. This emotional experience allowed the mother to interact, talk, and even hold the hands with a digital avatar, offering her a sense of closure. So this is the various areas in which most of us in our ministry also are engaged with, and this is where AI is also coming in. Now we need to be mindful also that we know that AI is doing so many things, but we need to be mindful and we need to be a bit more critical. Now we need to raise certain questions, and to raise these questions, Neil Postman, media analyst, he says you need to think any technology that we are using. He poses 6 prominent questions. What is the problem to which this technology is the solution? Who is it? Whose problem is it? What new problem might be created by solving the original problem? And then what changes in languages will be formed in new technologies? What sort of people and institutions gain, especially in terms of economic and political power, from this new technology? In the context of AI, we need to re-ask, whose problem is AI solving? When we are speaking of robots, when we are speaking of grief, whose problem? Who is being assisted with? Whose problem will AI create even as it solves a problem? What people or institution will be hurt by AI does not mean that everything will be good. What changes in the language are being forced by AI? Haven't our languages been changed? The way we interact with people, how we greet people, how we write our emails. AI is very much there changing our whole culture and how do we relate with people. And most importantly, what sort of people and institutions gain from the special economic, from the specific economic and political powers that they get. Now AI technologies are allowing big data players to become more powerful. Recently we saw a grand Indian wedding. Whose wedding was that? Ambani's. Everywhere 1 month was only, 1 week was Mehndi, 1 month was Mehndi somewhere in Europe, and then wedding in one place, almost 3 months the wedding functions, and we saw all celebrities, big tech companies, CEOs attending this wedding. Were they only attending wedding? What Ambani has spent on the wedding, he has already recovered 10 times of it through the business deals that they have made. One of the biggest Google data centers are being proposed by Jio and Reliance to be based from Chennai. This will be Reliance's biggest gift for South India. In the sense, which means a non-BJP area where the penetration of monitoring through various data flows will be fast, data will also be monitored, and someone else for political gains will be collecting the emotions, the thought process of people in a particular region. Now, how does this become very powerful in the sense? Basically because there is fast data processing. 2 years back we had that 2G, 3G, you press that screen, it is only buffering. Today with 5G, you start one web series, do you stop seeing one episode? We never stop with one episode. We will at least go to 2-3 episodes and then realize, oh my god, it is 12 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning. Fast data, that is because HD quality is given, you are seeing. Even if you don't want, you will see some unwanted movie. Even if you are not, if it is not rated also, you will, our eyes are used to watch and watch and watch. And by watching those data, tomorrow you will get another suggestion. Yesterday you watched this, today you watch this. Automatic data collection and integration or suggestion. Smarter data analysis, these are things which I have already mentioned. But what is important here is that AI, one of the biggest limitation of AI is the digital colonization that we are going through. And how does that happen? One of our own Achan, Achan highlights 7 important aspects. He says data monopolization. Data monopolization, tech corporations control vast amounts of user-generated data, refining it through AI algorithms for commercial gains, effectively monopolizing information. For example, Meta, that is Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Amazon, for example, uses consumer purchase history and browsing behavior to optimize pricing and recommend products, creating to a competitive edge over smaller retailers. The second one is search of data monopolization. Platforms like Google accumulate search data, profiting from cultural and economic events. Google search tracks queries and user behaviors, shaping online information through algorithms. I've told about algorithms, how it collects data from your search list. So data is collected. In artificial intelligence, data is money. Every single letter and word that you have typed is, you might delete it, but there is always a digital footprint that you have left. Hardware monopolization. There is a company called ASML, the only company producing extreme ultraviolet lithography machines essentially for advanced semiconductor manufacturing. They do not allow anyone else to venture into this. Intel, TSMC and Intel, another area, massively monopolizing manufacturing in a certain area. Customer dependency. You have what you call as Apple ecosystem. Those of you who are using Apple, you know all things are provided in the Apple Store. You have iMessage, Apple Store policies, Apple locks user into the ecosystems, and everything is provided within one framework itself. Microsoft also does the same. What we have when we buy our new laptops, you are given Microsoft Office 365. Everything, your cloud access, your email access, your all accounts can be collated together and managed together. But why is it given? So that data is collected from all your accounts. Computing power. Recently, there was a bloodbath in the US stock exchange a month back, I think, when DeepSeek, have you read this news regarding DeepSeek, which is an alternative or a Chinese version of ChatGPT? DeepSeek. They say it is more efficient and consumes lesser hardware, which Google and OpenAI has spent. OpenAI and Google have spent hundreds of millions of dollars to develop their AI, while China claims that we have spent only $6 million, which means that all this time was OpenAI, Nvidia, and OpenAI was claiming that you need specific technology, you need only this kind of a processor to create and work with OpenAI, is all been negated, and the monopoly is now broken. And there is what you call as AI and children, platform for children, where YouTube Kids algorithm curates children's content. According to our age, it creates content. There is architecture and design. There is Amazon Web Service. There is surveillance infrastructure. One of the most dangerous aspects. Coming to one of the major limitation of AI is the bias of artificial intelligence. Bias in artificial intelligence refers to the machine learning bias or the algorithms. When algorithms are fed with biased data, the outcome of this is also going to be biased. One of the examples I could quote, which I have used in one of my recent article, was algorithm robs the welfare rights of the poor. Now in 2016, the Hyderabad Police Commissionerate created an app or a program called Samagra Vedike, basic to profile criminals and to collect data. But that program was then developed further to also into the food security scheme, to collect all the data and collect. But the sad part of this was around 1.9 million ration cards, once this data was collected, 1.9 million of ration cards were cancelled. And in 2016 itself, the Supreme Court had to order government to conduct a physical verification of the ration cards. This is because I use an example of Bismillah B, a lady who is 67 years old, the case from Hyderabad, who comes from a very, very poor background, and during COVID time, she was running to hospitals to claim medical facilities that was available through her ration card, that the exemptions that could be that she could get. But unfortunately, her husband was identified or mistaken identity, saying that he owns a car and he has a house. His name was mistakenly referred to someone else, and her ration card gets cancelled. Only to lose her husband, and many such instances have happened. This is where data, when false data is fed to algorithm. In an Indian context, this can happen in a very, very different way, because India is a nation best known for deep divisions: class, religion, gender, wealth, and caste. So when we provide algorithms with these biases, existing biases, these biases will only multiply through the technology, thereby distorting, creating mistrust among people of color, women, people with different abilities, criminalizing minorities, and challenging most benefit by creating only avenues for the rich. The second is the facial recognition technology. Now when you go for the police stations for any permissions, especially if there is a protest rally, or if you have a rally that has to be taken, they will give permission, but you will see 2 or 3 policemen coming with a camera. Facial detection technology, which they use effectively in CAA protests to identify people and later track down and thing. So what has happened is that in the book, Martin Moore, in his book Democracy That Is Hacked, says surveillance democracy is a distortion of digital democracy. So this is one of the major challenges that we are facing today. Coming to the theological responses. There are 2 key theologians who have initially given their response. One is Anna Forrest's work, who is a theologian and also a computer scientist. She explores the integration of humanoids in human communities, suggesting that these entries can reflect aspects of human nature and human spirituality. Especially she engages with the theological concept of image of God and questions whether AI and robots could considerably be part of this framework. Traditionally, the image of God has been understood in terms of rationality, moral agency, and relationality. If relationality is a key component, then humanoids which can engage in social interactions and relationships may be seen as reflecting certain image of the divine image. This is one of our arguments. Countering this is Norman Hedgefield's work on the image of God. He says this interpretation associated, he says that AI basically cannot be lacks true consciousness and free will. There is a superficial reality, relationality, and the divine image as a gift it is not a product, it is a gift and not a product of intelligence. So that's why he says artificial intelligence cannot be considered as an image of God rather than it is just a product of human intelligence. Now coming to the last few questions. One of our very important aspect for our context in the Indian context is our biblical mandate or our biblical option for the poor. I said about algorithms, how do they manipulate data, how do they collect information. All these are happening basically in order to make the rich and make the rich richer. You and I only end up scrolling videos and someone else make money. But this is one aspect of AI. But what about the moral agency and the spiritual aspect? In pastoral care, human element such as empathy, compassion and spiritual insights cannot be replicated by machines. Probably you would have experienced this when you have done online counseling sessions or when you have done online services. The way you could relate with your congregation members is very limited there on an online. You are just seeing at the screens. Probably when you preach from the pulpit, how would you preach? What you preach in front of a screen is different from that of what you preach from a pulpit. Why is that? That is because we are able to relate with the people who are in front of us. Does the AI generated sermons carry a spiritual depth? One of the biggest thing is AI can create a sermon, but the limitation is that the personal conviction by which we preach is missing in the sermons that we find from that are delivered by artificial intelligence. And finally, one of the very important aspect of Christian ministry is building and nurturing lives, which artificial intelligence for a certain extent can do, and we can rely on that. But it cannot completely replace humans, or neither can it completely replace pastoral care ministry that are being done by pastors in different places. So one of the major problem if we rely completely on AI is there is a loss of connection. One of our strengths in pastoral ministry, any pastor would agree that it is our human connections, right? The connections that we build with our congregation defines the success of our ministry. That is one of the limitations that we find in artificial intelligence. Compromise spiritual depth. There is some ideas related to spirituality, but what I speak from my experience is missing in the sermons that are generated by artificial intelligence. There is a chance of reinforcing biases towards women, towards women clergy, towards differently abled. The theological biases that existed prior and which we are trying to only be liberate in the present contextual theologies can only be reinforced if we depend on those old data that are being fed to. There are privacy concerns, discrimination and exclusion, and reduced personal spiritual over-reliance on AI can lead to reduced role of personal study, prayer and reflections. As we stand in these crossroads, let us embrace neither uncritical adoptions nor fearful rejections of AI. Instead, let us educate ourselves, demystify AI for congregations through workshops and sermons, advocate, partner with policymakers to ensure AI serves the common good, innovate, use AI to amplify and strengthen our own ministries in different ways, the data sets. In the words of Paul Tillich, Technology is a human possibility, but it is not our ultimate concern. May we wield AI as a tool, not an idol, anchored in the love of Christ and hope of redemption. In conclusion, I would like to say that AI era presents pastoral ministry with both challenges and opportunities. As ministers and theologians, we must engage with AI thoroughly and ethically. It is not just a matter of embracing or rejecting technology. It is about discerning how technology can join hands in furthering God's mission while safeguarding human dignity, compassion, and creativity. May we approach this era with wisdom and faith, ever mindful of our calling to be Jesus' disciples, furthering God's mission. Thank you.